Hello and welcome to the Creative Academy. This is the Blue Pencil session. This is where we take a look at some of your opening pages and give you our deep thoughts and opinions. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. So I am Eileen Cook and I'm here today with my colleagues Donna and Crystal, and we are taking a peek at a medieval romance by Marie. So the story sort of opens, just to give people some context, where one character is being woken up and they are talking about how they are going to head off to the fair. And they are doing that as a means of escaping the evil baron who has kidnapped the mother. So Crystal, you are a romance expert. I'm going to get you to start us off.
All right. I really enjoyed this opening. I think it sucks you right in from the first sentence and raises so many questions as you go, but it really nicely sets like the location, the tone. We get a sense of the characters, and there's clearly some mystery or some interesting circumstances going on here by what's revealed in this first section. And I think all the little details really set the tone for things and get you kind of in the mood. So this is not a story I've had any exposure to at all before, but I was sucked right in and I definitely wanted to keep reading. So I'd say really strong opening scene, and I definitely wanted more. When I hit the end, I was like, wait, okay, but what else happens? I'm not there yet. Yeah,
I think really just echoing that, such a great description of setting and scene, like particularly when you're doing something that's a historical, like just jumping us right into that is hard to do. Now, Donna, I know you and I have both seen the synopsis of this piece, and I think you've had a chance to talk even more with Marie about it. Did you want to weigh in on the opening?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I had exactly the same reaction as Crystal, and I was, sucked right in. I didn't actually think about the synopsis, even though I know the synopsis is humorous. Like when one reads the synopsis, which it makes you think we're reading something funny. And what else? And what else I know is that Marie has mentioned that she was struggling at one point with who the main character was, whether or not it's going to be Terry or Terwin. Terwin? Is that right? Terwin? Or the mom. And so I was reading it, and I was reading this as definitely Terry is the main character of the story without thinking about the synopsis. And then Eileen.
When I read the synopsis, I really saw the mom's story, which is involved. There's going to be a dashing knight who's going to help her in the escape, it's my understanding, and she's getting away from the baron. Like for me, it felt like her love story was the primary driver, and Terwin, her daughter's romance, while really sweet, and I found it super adorable, I saw it as more of the secondary. So I wasn't sure if we should open, because at this point, mom is just mom. Like I don't even know if we know that she has another name. Like she's just ma'am, which makes me feel, and Crystal's nodding, like Terwin is the main character then.
Yeah, Ariana is her name. She forced her feet away. Yeah. So that was That was an interesting thing. It had me thinking, which got me thinking, okay, so the synopsis really sucked me in because it sounds like so much fun. This really sucked me in because it's so intriguing and it's really well written, but it doesn't sound like the synopsis. So is that even a problem though? Can we open a book sounding very dark when the synopsis is promising us Canterbury Tales?
Well, and that I think is my biggest question. And that was, I loved this opening. So let me just chime in with a triumphant of thumbs up. Like really well written, clear, engaging, a nice balance of sort of dialogue, description, and narration. It raised, as Crystal said, a lot of questions, like things I wanted to know more about, but it didn't raise confusion. And I'm always talking about that in my office hours. Mystery is good, confusion is bad. So I had a lot of questions, but I wasn't confused about what was happening. My only thing that I twinged on just a tiny bit is when I read the synopsis, it did read like it would be, I mean, certainly that it had dark themes happening in it, but that it was overall a light and yeah, I think Canterbury Tales is a really good way of describing it, where there's all this confused identity. The daughter's dressing like a boy. The mom is going to dress like, I think, like a servant or a whore to kind of get away in the fair. The knight is pretending not to be a knight. So there's all this kind of fun and games. And the only thing is there wasn't a lot of hint of that in these first opening pages. Now, I'm reluctant to say that that's a problem because, again, we're only seeing 750 words, but it would be something I would put kind of in the back of your hat to think about, Marie, is if there's a little taste or flavor, just so, again, we know that that is something that will be coming so that you don't confuse. And at that point, it's probably more of an agent or an editor who's reading a query than it is going to be a reader challenge, is my hunch.
Well, and even like when you get to the reader stage, so a lot of people will read the book blurb and then they'll click through the look inside and they'll read the sample that's sent to their, Kindle or whatever. And so if you're looking at it in terms of delivering on the reader expectations that are set up with the synopsis, which might be the back of the book blurb, obviously there'll be some steps in between, but for sure an agent or editor will stumble over that if it's the humor of the synopsis that draws them. And then they are kind of plunged into this slightly darker kind of tone of a story, then that may just be a stumbling block for them. So, yeah.
And if that's where you are, I think you're pretty good, because I think when we talked about this earlier, everyone had maybe a tiny little thing here or there, but nobody was noticing. It was a very clean piece. I think Donna said she only found one typo, and she's good at finding the typos.
And basically, you've spelled Terry girl differently both times. So you've used it twice, and it's spelled differently. That's it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. So there you go. So you're in great shape, Marie, and those are some things to keep in mind. I would encourage other people, if you have an opening or some pages you'd like us to take a look at, please submit it to the Blue Pencil. We'd be happy to do that. And the offer goes for you as well, Marie, if you'd like to send in another installment. I think you have some people who would like to read some more. So on that note, we hope to see all of you around the Academy, and stay tuned.